requires this is already a requirement. Our ordinance says we adopt the International Plumbing Code, it doesn't spell it out, they wanna see it spelled out. So it's just reaffirming what we already do.
So we're not changing anything?
We're not changing anything, so currently already.
Okay, that's where I got confused. Okay, thanks, and thank you, Brandon.
This originated from the Department of Redundancy Department, I believe. I'd like to make a motion that we accept this change ordinance.
Okay, we have a motion, we have a second.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? It is approved.
Second. Lisa.
Lisa.
All right, my last item on the agenda is, so we, the other day, we had a meeting with Georgia DOT, the city, and it was very good. We had Representative Martinez came. Our city is split, DeKalb and Gwinnett County, not Walton, Gwinnett, excuse me, where I'm thinking. But we're essentially in two different congressional districts. The Georgia DOT board has representatives for each congressional district. So we did invite Mr. Boswell and also Mr. Thompson to attend, and they both came, which was very nice. We also had Mr. Dykes, who is GDOT District 1 District Engineer out of Gainesville, which covers our area. And the point of the discussion was to talk about the projects, what's a priority to us. Obviously, traffic is, and there's a number of projects that we talked about. We talked about the line at Publix and across from Chili's. That being a priority because it's very important to us. We talked about the current project that's coming, State Route 20 up to Loganville, and we know we're going to be needing utility aid in the future. We talked about Cowan Drive, that intersection, and there's difficulty. The underlying thing that we want is to get State Route off of Main Street downtown. You can't take the trucks down 20 from Lawrenceville down to 78 and take a right. There's not enough turning movement there. So that would need to be modified. But we also talked about, right now you have a 4-lane that comes from Grace and Lawrenceville all the way down, stops at Brand Road, next down. Anybody that drives that way every day, you get stuck in traffic. I know I do. And then we've got 20 that's coming up to Loganville. It's going to be a 4-lane. We're all looking forward to the Tommy Lee Fuller light that the DOT is working with us on. It's going to help us, but the gap is going to be from Brand Road all the way down to 78. So the crux to that is they went through what's called a scoping phase, so in the process of putting together a project, they started, the first part of it is develop what they call a concept. That's what defines all what we're looking for, how many lanes, what the traffic is, what you're doing at each intersection, that type of thing. That's what you do on paper to get a report. And then from there you go to the engineering phase, designing everything, getting it laid out in order to, one, understand what the parcels, how many parcels are involved in as far as the right-of-way goes. That's called the right-of-way phase. And then after that's done, then they know what properties need to be purchased. Then there's the construction phase. Well, so DOT, they program this after this program's written, the project's really split up into the scoping phase, which is part of the preliminary, but they didn't do right-of-way or construction. So those are nowhere in the program right now, so nobody's looking at it. So what we were wanting to do is we want DOT to get that project started back, go ahead and do that engineering. But it's not an easy task. They've got a lot of projects going on, a lot of money being spent. If we don't get into it, we're not going to ever have it done. I mean, it's just what it is. So, both board members were happy to support us. We wanna, try to go in and ask DOT to get those projects funded and get the project moving, just to kind of lay it out. So that concept report was approved in March of 2021. And it's hard to believe that it's been that long. So it's been sitting there now for almost 4 years. At that time, the estimate for doing this work was about $46 million, just to go from Brand Road to 78. I don't know what that cost estimate is now, but it's gone up, I'm sure. So, we'd like to ask DOT to add those phases back in, get the project started, and if, let's say, everything aligned and they were gracious to just jump in there, it'd take them 9 months to get a contract with the engineering firm to do the work. It would probably take them 2 years to go through that preliminary engineering phase, probably another year to 2 years to go through the right of way, purchase the right of way, and then they'd have to let it. So let's just say we started right now, they wouldn't be under construction until 2031, 2032. That's being generous. But I know it's hard to look out there, but if we don't push for it, we'll never get it. And it's vital, and we still talked about wanting to get 20 off of Main Street, and that's still maybe there's a tweak we can do at Canal Road, but we'll still keep asking for that. That will be an ask, but definitely the only way to do it is to get that project moving. So I just want to bring all this up see if you have any questions on that, as far as what we talked about.
First off, I want to give a big shout out to the mayor and Bill for getting GDOT to come out here and meet with us. Ray Martinez had a big hand in that, and our state senator, Brian Strickland, had a big hand in getting them out here. They were also here at that meeting. And a lot of it boiled down to a lot of our traffic woes is this gap right here. That can help fix a lot of our traffic with Main Street, because then that can allow us for different timing routes, stuff like that. It helps immensely with everything, like Bill said, going all the way to 78, going across the street over there. So, just like Bill said, if we don't start now, when are they gonna pick up the project again? So I'm excited to at least go ahead and get started on it.
So, you want to go in and talk to DOT, I'm certain we could get a contingency, we could get our board members, get Ray Martinez and maybe our other representatives go with us too, and ask the DOT to add that phase in. But nothing talks better than money. So, if I was going to go in there and try to get them started on it, you're talking pennies on, you're talking, and I sit there and go, well, the preliminary engineering is probably going to cost between $2 and $3 billion. We're not going to go out there with that, right? It's a lot of money to do.
That is a lot of money.
But, if we were to go in there and say, hey, well, what can we do? Can we do, can we do 500,000? Can we do whatever? If we wanted to come in and say, here, we're gonna program some money that will benefit that and get that started, they may look at that in good favor. But, obviously, no one can just go do that without this body deciding if that's a way we want to go.
That breakfast, November, Tuesday, next week?
Yes.
There are representatives that are gonna be there, like Ray Mark, whatever, I don't call him that anymore, so I don't remember his last name. Other state representatives, and that's the purpose of that breakfast. Shane Short put it together, and he wants us to communicate some of our desires. That may be a good time to bring that up. That and anything else that we might wanna do that they can help us with. Apparently, there's a lot they can help us with that we're not aware of, or I'm not aware of. So I think that breakfast will be really good.
I think we're getting a report together now for that meeting. I guess Bill present that if you're there that day, Bill.
What day?
Next Tuesday at 8:30.
I'm out of town. Not back till Thursday.
So is this something you're asking in order to write the office of the mayor to write something to our, representatives, then give to GDOT?
So it would be a resolution, you know, whereas saying this is what we support, that we could write that and then take that to DOT. You know, the question is I think everybody would agree that we would want to write a resolution in support.
Mhm.
The question is are we willing to
Pony up.
put some funding to it?
In your experience, do you see it like local governments pay the engineering fee side of it, the state pays the rest?
Oh, yeah.
Is it just a certain amount,
So-
whatever we can what we can pony up?
So on typical projects, and, you know, of course, I'll say I do a lot of bridge projects, and what would happen is you have funding that's either federal or state, you know, for the most part. In 2015, the state adopted what they call House Bill 170, which provided a lot of state money that goes to transportation nowadays. But traditionally, federal money comes in and you got 80% federal with a 20% match. So what locals would do with projects is they'd say, okay, we're gonna leverage our 20%, but in doing that, the DOT would say, okay, well, if you'll handle the engineering part, we'll handle the right-of-way construction. Because as you can see, you know, if it's, in this case, it was, right-of-way was 18 million and construction was like 26 million. I'm just going off my head. Well, I mean, you can think 10% of 46 million, 4.6, I don't think it's gonna be that high, 3 million. It's a lot, you know. Back in the day, doing a bridge project, you know, bridge project would be 300,000 and the engineering might be, you know, 70,000. It's a little bit different for local government. So I don't know, I can't see us ever walking in there and saying, hey, we've got all the money for the PE for that type of project. I get that.
Yeah.
But to go in there and say, hey, we've got a commitment, that would go a long way.
Yeah, I think we've seen in the past that if we are able to come up with some kind of a match, that it gets their attention and gets us higher up on the list of things to do. Case in point, I think it's this intersection improvement right over here.
I think at very minimum, it'd be a good faith effort. Don't know if we got enough money to make an impact or not.
Is it earmarked, like we have to put it away somewhere, or is that just something we have to say that we'll pay when it's time?
So.
I'm not trying to sound sleazy or get around it or anything,
No,
I'm
no.
saying, because if we do have to earmark it, we do like what the county did, put it in a fund to work while it's parked away.
Correct.
So we have even more to give potentially.
They'll program it with a phase, and they'll say, okay, we're halfway through fiscal year 2025, right? And then they'll say, well, they're not really gonna have the funds available until 26. Well, they would put a phase in there that's for preliminary engineering in 2026, and they put another one in there, preliminary engineering, but it's gonna have a fund code for the local. And at that point in time, they're gonna want us to give them a check for that amount of money. And they will stick it in the bank, you know, they'll take it, and then, you know.
What amount do you have in mind?
No, I mean, I don't know, I mean, I was thinking, you know, 500,000 was kind of what I was thinking. It's hard to guess.
What do you think on this, Danny? Or Natalie, finance director?
The question is, could we put aside $500,000 in a fund for matching funds if we can get GDOT to speed up the projects that we've already told them we got to desperately have?
Well, if we do have to put it away, I would like to put it in a fund that
Yeah, we
has
have earmark
interest.
money, no problem. You have reserve. You have SPOS. They have transportation money for SPOS, but, you know, you're robbing Peter to pay Paul though, because you know that money set aside for all these other projects we wanna do. So it's just, where's your priority?
Say we earmark it with general funds, say it takes 2 years to get to whatever phase. It's lost, well, I guess we'll have a negotiation again until
Long time.
a while. We just did. Sorry, just thinking out loud.
Yeah, we can earmark reserve if y'all, I mean, if this is what y'all tell us you wanna do it, then we'll create a line item and we'll say Highway 20 expansion.
Well, I think based on what you just said, is that we can do it based on what's gonna be the priorities. I think we need to see the list of projects to see what would be priority.
Well, the priority y'all had given me was Fesco Road, the new Fesco Road, number one. Number two is Publix red light on Highway 78.
Definitely.
Number three is Rock Road and Highway 81. Number four, Cowan Road, possibly widen to an extra turn lane. And I ran out of money on the first project, so it was the other three are.
I know.
But you know what Councilman Duvall is saying is take Publix red light, 78 Publix. That is, we verbally said we would look at paying for engineering and they would do construction. And we would handle the acquisition of right of way. We are in the process of doing that as we speak. But until they give us a PI number to program it, I haven't came to y'all and asked y'all to pay for and that design is north of 750,000 just for that intersection. Just for
That
the
has to
design.
be paid. I mean, that's not a down payment on anything, that has to be paid.
That's the engineer cost, that's one engineer's cost to engineer that project.
Okay,
Engineer, that gets plans turned over to GDOT, they would construct it.
okay.
That is your no right-of-way acquisition. That's with getting, we do have right-of-way acquisition, we have a verbal that they would give it to us, but verbals can change in a second. So, those two projects right there, $6 million.
Whew.
And you currently have north of 4 million in Walton SPOS for transportation, I would say. And we have a new SPOS that will start in January of 2025. And it was 5 million, but that's a 6-year. So you have close to say $10 million. As long as the economy stays good and we keep drawing good interest, but that can be gone within 2 projects. So people see that transportation, why don't we do anything? What we do is just, it takes years and years and years to do these things. I've been working on public since 2015. We're still working on it.
How many more property owners you gotta deal with to get releases?
Just one. It's just, but we're waiting from the state though to give us an answer, not property owner.
Well, we have a new leader now, so maybe things will get cleaned up.
All we can do is hope.
Yes, really.
Well, but if there is a way that we can put some money available to get these projects speeded up versus other cities getting it, then we ought to be in a position to do something.
And that was one of the big talking points with the state with T-SPOS was you give money and you move up on the list. Bill's absolutely 100% correct. If GDOT said we're gonna do Cowan Road intersection improvement, if y'all pay for a percentage of engineering, I will come to you and say, we have to do this. So I think you're right, you gotta put money up. It's just, what we're gonna say is more important right now. But you have money, you can have 500,000 you could assign.
It sounds like it's gonna take a long time anyways, so we might be done with 1 or 2 of those before that one. I just don't want them to forget about us again for another 4 or 5 years before we even start it back up. And I'd rather go ahead and, me personally, I'd rather go ahead and keep it in the pipeline of contention with them versus taking 20 plus years.
We have transportation, it's an account, it cannot be used for anything but transportation. It cannot be moved by y'all. The voters voted on that. It has to be used for transportation. Some type of transportation project, sidewalks, GDOT project, whatever it may be. That is currently earmarked to SPOS, or earmarked for that. And we are drawing interest on that. So it's just, if you wanna set an additional general fund, you just give me a number and Natalie and I will move that. But I will say this, on the same flip, during that election, we had the homestead for cities passed, and we will no longer get that. That is a huge, huge blow to the cities. They
I
will,
started reading that information, Danny, and it's quite confusing. What, since you mentioned it, you may not wanna go into it, but I didn't know what the city was gonna do, and it was just confusing.
so the way it works is, just like in the county, your homestead, your value is locked in when you do homestead. So, since that law passed, the way I understand it, Paul, correct me if I'm wrong, come January 1st, 2025, whatever your home value is will be locked from here on out. It can only go up 2% based on the CPI, or if the property sells and then reassesses it re-triggers that value. That means on our valuations in City of Loganville, everybody's property value goes up. When we roll back our millage rate, it may be only 4% citywide, but some properties experience north of 25% increase in their own value.
Right.
Well, that's increasing their taxes. It's great for the citizens with homes, but when you're heavily relying on property taxes like we are, because we're 47% property tax in our budget, we have a significant revenue from that. That's no longer
So
going to
that's
happen.
no more.
That means you're going to raise your millage rate, which means you're going to, on paper, raise taxes. They're forcing you to raise millage rates or to reduce services. That's the option. The state said, well, if you do that, then we'll let you do a FLOST, which is a floating local option sales tax. But here's my question to the citizens. Who's going to vote to do another 1% sales tax? Nobody, because we see T-SPLOST doesn't pass. You saw T-SPLOST didn't pass in Gwinnett, just passed election. So who's going to make Walton County 8%? Nobody. So now we're stuck with, thank God, the only positive silver lining is home values are up. If this would have been in 2011, we'd be hurting in the world of hurt.
Yeah,
So it's very concerning to me.
I'm sure.
I never project our budget when I do. I always do 2% of property value. But this year alone, we had a 400,000 increase. That won't be there next year. That's 400,000 I'm going to cut out of one of these departments.
It'll still be there for new construction, I'm sure. For new
No, that
construction.
was reassessed value. So reassessed value is the only thing that we roll back. We don't have to roll back new construction. It's called RVA, the reassessed value assessment, is what we roll the taxes back.
Can the city opt out? I know that.
There is an opt-out clause, but
Penalty.
who's gonna do that? Which one of y'all is gonna say, well, we're not gonna give you a tax break? Not to put you on the spot, but, I mean, if they force you, you have to do it. And I don't think any city's gonna opt out in Walton County.
Does the county have to have a okay to opt out itself or not?
I believe it's all or none. It has to be 100% unanimous citywide, countywide. So, it's concerning, but it passed with flying colors. But a lot of people didn't know they were voting on it, of course, either.
Also, the school board is very concerned about it as well, because they're in the same boat we are. And the county says they already have.
The county already has homestead rules, yeah.
So, Bill, are you wanting to make a motion tonight, or you just wanna kinda get the feel of what
No.
we feel?
Well, okay, to really feel.
I mean, I
think we need to go do a resolution, right?
Yeah, but I think we need more time to figure out, or maybe come back with a solution on, or suggestions on how to fund this.
Okay.
Would be a good starting point.
I support doing it, let's find the money and get the resolution on paper and move forward.
We can talk all night about this. I like that, and I appreciate your efforts, I appreciate everything y'all done, and our representatives.
Well,
We're gonna bring something up for the December meeting. Bring something to the December meeting.
acceptable to everybody?
Yeah.
Okay.
We're gonna start at $500,000 and see where it goes.
All right.
Well, I'm depressed. Let's talk trash.
Okay, we're ready to go down to
You ready
public
to go
works
to trash?
facility. Annual
trash. Public Works picked up 145 pounds, 10 bags of litter. That is kind of depressing too. Public Works chipping report, 502 stops. Tons, 25.75. That's the trash report. Now, I have something that is much, much better than that. Toddler Park, it's down here at CS Floyd, for those of you who may not know about Toddler Park. I have some potential wonderful news, providing council approves it. Danny, myself, and Jeremy went out to the park. We were actually going around to look at parks to see what we wanted to revamp. And we got to Toddler Park. Danny says it's the busiest park in the city, and it can be part of the city revitalization, if you will. So we decided to land there. What we're hoping to do is completely revamp that park, and to me, the most important thing is it's gonna be an integrated park, which means you're gonna have equipment for special needs children in the same park. And to me, that it just doesn't get any better than that. Let me go through some of the particulars. Splashed is gonna cover the cost, and it can be, it's budget, the cost that's budgeted so far is $300,000. We're hoping to get a design, because we're going to is it GMC, Danny? Is that the name of the company? Danny, they specialize in parks. So they are willing to do a design for us for, I think Danny mentioned this earlier, the $14,925, which will actually lay out the park. Here they are. Okay, great. You can see these are the swings that are for wheelchairs. You don't have to buy two. You can buy just one, but they're the swings for the wheelchairs. Do we have any more pictures? Thank you. You can go on beyond. That was some of the grass for the land, but we're not going to use that. Oh, this is a merry-go-round for handicap, or any child can use it, but it's for handicap. It sits flat to the dirt, so they can roll their wheelchairs up in there. And here's just some other pictures, some general ideas of things. I stuck primarily to special needs, because that was kind of what was on my heart to revamp this park, was for special needs. And any child can play on it, but so can special needs. So I think that's very important. And these are just some of the different colorful, which is also, I think, important to all of us, that it's colorful. When they go in the park, it's going to be primary colors. And then see the green and the blue, it's actually, I think, rubber padding. Is that what it is, Danny? We're going to cover the park with this in the different colors, so it's going to be bright when you walk in, and it's going to be safer. The park, once Danny pointed out to me, because I had never noticed it, but there's curbing around the swing that is potentially very dangerous if a child trips over that curbing, and just various things in the park that just need to be removed, and we just need to get it redone. It was done originally in 2005, so it's been a long time since we've ever even thought about revamping that park. So I'm excited about it. I think Danny and Jeremy are both excited about it. Do y'all have any questions? I'm kind of rushing a little bit because of the time factor, but
I think isn't the SPOS money, or there's money in the SPOS?
yeah, I said that. Yeah,
oh, okay,
it's covered under the parks. There's money set aside for splash for parks, so that will be covered. And we think, by the way, I don't know, Robbie, if you found out anything about the grants or not.
I believe a list has been compiled of some potential options.
So we think we might be in good shape on the grant?
That Brett was working on that now.
Okay.
We have a list of grants we can apply for. We don't know if we're gonna get any, but we have a list
Right.
found.
Okay, ADA, all of them?
Yes, and GMC is also looking at some different grant options as well.
Okay.
Is the whole park gonna be, for special needs, or are we doing?
No, it's gonna be integrated.
Okay.
So are we gonna keep the same equipment that's there now?
So the message we gave GMC was look at the back area where the swings are, where the two pavilions are, where the picnic table is, because after speaking with them, they said, Danny, you can easily get into millions of dollars if you wanna do the whole park, do all new equipment. I said, well, let's look at it as an upgrade, the back corner, and then look at using that rubber mat throughout the park, wherever there's not at the sidewalks, let's look at putting that mat there, putting some swings, taking old swings out, maybe taking one of these sun structures out, putting a new sun structure, because there are some, concerns with the pecan trees. They may have to come out, they're looking at that, because those limbs do fall. So we've asked them to have an arborist give us their opinion on those trees, because I know trees in this board, that we like trees, so, but, you know, we don't want pecan limb either hitting a child. So we looked at putting the structure under the pecan trees, but then that came up, do we really wanna do that? So that's kind of the marching orders we gave the engineers and architects. We met with both the engineer and the architect. They're gonna give us two plans. They're gonna give us kind of a low level, which they think is around 300,000, and then they're gonna give us like a high level. And then we can look at it and see what y'all have the appetite for. But we do have Walton SPOS available, more than 300,000 in the account currently. It's been sitting there since 2019, or collecting since 2019.
Is the arborist included in the 14,925?
I believe, well, no, that was part of the design. That was just for them to do a mock-up of a plan. But they would, if they got this, they would encourage us to, when it goes out to bid, because you're still going to have to bid this to somebody install it, and that's when they would look at that tree.
Tonight, you're looking for 14,925.
Well, it's within my wheelhouse to do, but I didn't want to spend that money if y'all had no desire to upgrade this park. So if you do, yes, you can definitely vote on that amount. But mainly what I think Patty and I was looking for is the need from the council. Is this a park you want to do? We did talk about other parks, but Destination has currently been upgraded. Gaither Park doesn't have any restrooms. That's one of the biggest complaint we get from
It's our worst
parents.
part.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
there's no reason to go there. It's like, we might as well give it up if we ain't gonna upgrade it.
We think this will also draw people downtown, this nice park, because it's full. I mean, people are in this park all the time now.
It's a small acreage, you're gonna hold so much, and it already draws a good bit. Because I go a lot with my daughters. I got a 2-year-old. I go there all the time. She loves the park as it is.
I know.
I do agree that we could get like, a handicap swing or something and redo some mulch and stuff like that. Obviously, we could trim up a tree and save a lot of money.
We could save a lot of money. We could save a lot of money on the library too, Brandon, but let's.
Well, I'm just speaking my mind. I'm not trying to bring up stuff from the past, Patty. I'm just saying there's Anthony Gaither Park, I believe, was brought up when you were on council last. It was one of the last things you talked about, and nothing ever happened with it. And we talked about doing handicap accessible and stuff at that park at that time.
We did. I think that what held it up then was the shutdown, the cost of the supply chain issues, the cost of raw materials was through the roof, and we decided to postpone it for those reasons. But I mean, if we're just talking about doing some, it sounds like small, minor upgrades. Can we do any of this in-house and just purchase the equipment?
I would highly recommend against that. This is a huge liability. Staff's not trained to put playground equipment in. Playground equipment is a very specialized, very expensive thing. To answer Brady's point, there is another SPOS out there that has park and recreation money. We have to have infrastructure first at that park. There's no sewer, there's no building for sewer and water. I think that's our first step. That's what we did Destination Park. We put the playground equipment in. Nobody went there because there was no bathroom. So then we went back and put a bathroom. I think we learned a lesson on that. So I think Gaither Park, we look at putting a similar restroom that we have at Destination Park. Tyler Park has the full city hall, the health department, they use their restroom. So we can do both of them. But, I do believe this park, Tyler Park, my children went there when they were little. They're 21 now. It's been used. I think it needs, I tried this rubber mat several years ago. It was just, council didn't want to spend that money on that, but I think it's a need, especially when we're in Gwinnett County. You look at Gwinnett County parks versus our parks.
Yeah, it's very nice.
That's where I saw that rubber mat, and it's
That's what we
just a matter of time before something happens. So I do support this project, I think it's good. I think we do need to look at Gaither Park. I tried to do some things at Gaither Park, but the council didn't want to support that, because it was a lot of money. So I think Gaither Park is a different type of park. I think that needs to be more of your basketball courts or some type of court for larger children, because that area over there is more teenagers. This is for toddlers, it's not for 12, 13, 14-year-old kids. This is my opinion, but.
And Patty, are you asking for a vote tonight, or are you just proposing this?
If we could
for
get
thought?
one, but let me just say a few more things. The reason I brought up the library, Brandon, is because it's been told to us that it's gonna bring in, a lot of people. And I think this park is gonna do the same thing, because if you build something that children want, the parents will be there. That's what made McDonald's so famous back when they first opened up. They put little play areas in McDonald's, and all the children wanted to go there. So the parents end up there, obviously, because the children are there. I think this park will do the same thing. I realize they're using, it's highly used now.
It is.
But if it's highly used now, imagine what this will do. Walking into a bright, colorful park with nice equipment, I can't even imagine how many people will want to go at that point. And I think the whole point of redesigning downtown is to bring people to downtown. And I think this park will help do that. I think it'll do it in a big way, actually, is what I think. And I think it's close to the town green that we have currently, so the parents can walk their children over to play a little bit and take them back, when we've got a concert or whatever. And then we've got, the food trucks. I just think it's viable to our downtown redesign. And I think if we're wanting to get people downtown, we've got to get downtown looking good to bring them here.
I agree 100% about redoing parks. I think every one of our parks, with the exception of maybe Destination Park, that's one we go to the most now, because it does have bathrooms and stuff. We do go to this one, not as much anymore now that Avery's gotten older, because there's only one slide for her there. But Anthony Gaither Park is just so bad.
The what?
The Anthony Gaither Park is just so bad. And this park's already pretty nice compared to compared to that park. I'm fine with spending more money downtown. I'm always gonna vote for more money spent downtown, don't get me wrong. I'm just saying, if we're gonna do money for this, we really seriously need to consider Anthony Gaither Park. That should be number one on our priority, because it is.
I think redesigning downtown now has become kind of number one, hasn't it? According to what you've been representing anyway, it's kind of number one on your list. When you speak about it, you've made it number one. I don't know why, I've not seen Gaither Park, so I can't comment about that, but I think Danny just said he would
Well, and I agree
figure out
with you.
a way.
That's not for small children. I think that would be better for a basketball court,
I'll tell you what.
pickleball court, or
You
sometime.
legislators give me authority
Yeah.
to not to exceed amount, and I'll include Gaither Park in the design. So if you wanna say not to exceed 40,000 on the design for both parks, I'll get him designed that way, he's designing this.
I'm good with that. Two birds.
Well, that's just more money, but are you gonna wanna spend the money to fix it up when Danny gets the design for Gaither Park?
About to do it in phases
If money-
like we've done before.
Money seemed to be your issue, so if it's your issue, then you're probably not gonna wanna spend the
It's
money
not
for
really
two
the money,
parks.
it's where we're spending the money at.
I think there's 250,000 slated for the 2025 spots for recreation. So you can use that, general fund can front it and then pay ourselves back as we get it. So you do have that money.
Yeah, so is
It
this
feels
already
like-
budgeted in the budget for this year? The
This
park,
300,000 has been in the budget
the
since
budget for
2019.
parks, because it comes from smalls.
Yeah, and then we budget the full amount like we have to by law,
Yeah.
even though we don't have it, but you can always use, that's what we did prior with SPOS. I don't like doing it that way, because you don't know what you're gonna collect, but Bill used to go out and general fund front it, the money, and then as the money come in, we pay ourselves back. That is 100% legal. We can do that. So I agree with it. I think we're all saying the same thing, we're just saying it differently. We can do both these parts at the same time. If you say, hey, let's spend 500,000 and divvy it up 50-50, we can do that. It's two different programs. You got ADA, toddlers, and you got maybe a basketball court or a pickleball court. I don't know what teenagers do now, because I got daughters that do nothing but play on their phone, but I don't know what they do. But that's what we pay engineers for sales.
Do great over there.
I think
I
we might need to
would rather do
prioritize.
something special needs kids than with, that's.
Yeah, I'm not saying anything against this special needs guy, I'm not saying nothing against downtown. I just know from talking to a lot of people, like, a lot of people don't even go to Anthony Gates because it's so bad. And I would rather see, if we do both, I think that's awesome. But if we only had $300,000 to spend, that park is already pretty nice compared to that one. And that one would be my highest priority park. Not saying downtown isn't my number one priority, but if we're just listing parks, that would be where I personally prefer to spend it. But it's up to the council. If everyone on the council only wants to do that one park, I'm not gonna vote against downtown.
Well, it'd be nice to see what's available,
I just wanna,
and I guess that's gonna cost us 15,000.
Well, it's not, my only thing is if we do pay for a design on Gaither, is that we are prepared at that time to take that design and do something with it. We've paid for a lot of designs that are sitting on the shelf somewhere. So that's my only caveat with that. If we're not prepared to, and I think you're saying we could be prepared to.
Staff will do whatever you tell us. You're all the ones that hold up staff with the money, because you're all the ones that approve it, not us.
Yeah,
If you
you're
tell me to
right.
spend it,
You're
I
right.
can tell you what Jeremy's gonna do. He's gonna call the developer and have it developed. He's gonna call a contractor, that's what he does. It's,
Jeremy, you got any comments? Never mind, Jeremy.
No, I got this. Okay. I've got some more. Okay. Is it on? Okay. I do agree. I think Kirkland Park does need, upgrades, especially for toddlers with, special needs. I take a little, I don't wanna say offense, but I don't like any of the parks in the city of Loganville being called bad. Gates Park does need some more equipment. But I will say this, my kids love going to Gates Park. They love playing in the sand. When we go to Destination Park and it's crowded, they do like to go to Gaither. I've taken them to Kirkland Park and we were there for 5 minutes and my kids wanted to go somewhere else and play. If you do a plan for Gaither and you do a plan for Kirkland, we will use the money that y'all set aside to do the best we can with the parks. That's what my department does. You give us the money. You put the money in a budget for us to use. I don't say you give us the money. You'll get your park. You'll get your equipment. We'll do everything we can to make it for Loganville children, Monroe children when it comes to the concerts. Whatever you want to do with the parks is what we're going to do for you. You want Kirkland Park remodel? Let's get the plan. You want Gator Park remodel? Let's get the plan. All I'm asking is, give us an idea. Show me the money.
Monroe started first, Paul, correct me if I'm wrong, well, not first, they did a lot of stuff up front. But their parks were in need, they had to kind of, I won't say battle the county, but get ownership of it so they could spend the money on the parks. And they tackled that first, and a lot of people do love the parks there, not just one singular park, but most of their parks are of a lot higher quality than what we have. And Gwinnett County, it puts most of America to shame, to be honest, so I wouldn't, let's compare, it's still apples to oranges, but. And I'm sorry, I wasn't trying to offend when I said that park was bad, just saying that's what, I'm saying it's well maintained and everything, but we haven't, council hasn't given you the money to make that park be as successful as it could be. So I'm sorry, I wasn't trying to offend.
No, I understand, and I'm sorry, like
No,
I
it's
said,
okay.
I wasn't offended, it's just, my kids love that park. They love the sand boxes there to play in and everything, and I don't even know if we're supposed to have sand there.
Yeah, no, yeah.
When we talk about flooring, now I can hear myself. When we talk about flooring for the parks, it's not as simple as going out and mulching a tree. Like, if we could do that, we mulch trees for the city every day. We do a limb pickup route, but we cannot use that mulch. That is not playground mulch. We have to go out and buy it. We buy cypress chips for Destination Park. We have looked into getting plastic mats, like we're talking about at Kirkland Park, since I took over Public Works back in 2015. It's expensive. It was expensive in 2015. It's more expensive now, 15 years later, 10 years later. Just, like I said, we're going to do the best we can. Just give us the opportunity.
So to get us back on track, I say if y'all wanna give me authority not to, exceed a certain amount, this one was 15,000. If you wanna say another 20, just be safe. It is a bigger part, but I think what you're gonna see in their design is bathrooms first, and then maybe you can get some type of, piece of equipment. I don't know what it would be, but I think bathrooms gotta be first. And to give you an example, that was $400,000 just for that, because you gotta run the infrastructure.
Just for the restrooms?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if that was running a gravity, pump for sewer, running a water line, this wouldn't have, because there is water and sewer there, but the building itself was, I think, 150. So.
It'll be even more expensive if we wait 15 years to do it.
It will. So, not stay here until midnight. If y'all are okay with a not to exceed limit, I'll get another proposal.
Yes.
They can work on it. We'll come back to you probably, I forget what the time frame was, 6 to 8 weeks. And this is what they'll say, and then we'll know, we can guess all night what it's gonna cost. But I agree, if you're not, have no plan of doing it, then don't pay for the proposal.
Right. That's the key for me, anyway.
I believe we gotta do something in Gaither as well as Collier.
I can make a motion if you want me to.
Gaither's what, 50 years old?
Sir?
Danny's
Swing
making a
set at
motion.
Gaither's 50 years old.
So, we've painted that swing set.
I know, I asked you to look up that. I mean, it's been out a long
Well, it
time.
sounds like Gaither's gonna cost 400 for the restroom.
Yeah, we don't know.
If you're gonna do another 300, I don't know what you're gonna do, but it's gonna be, I would say between 6 and 7 possibly to do anything. So I don't know, and what?
Does the GMC thing that we have in our packet, did that cost us any money?
To get this?
Uh-huh.
No, just kind of where it's ice water though.
Okay, I think we have to decide as a council how much money we wanna put towards parks first. And then based on that amount, where's that money best spent? It seems like splitting it is gonna maybe get 2 halfway parks, rather than putting it all at one or another might get 1 fully done park. So I don't know, I have no problem, do we wanna get GMC to give us an idea at Gaither as well? And not spend any money until we
Well,
decide as
they're
a
not
council?
gonna design anything without a proposal, without a fee.
Yeah, but you said it wouldn't cost anything more.
But this proposal's for
So we can
Thomas
have 2
Park.
proposals
get the
and we can
design.
maybe pick one.
All they did was write this, they haven't designed nothing, these drawings came from Patty. That's what she saw in the books. All they're saying is 15,000 is them to design on a piece of paper what it looks like.
But you said you could get them to also design Gaither
For a fee, for 15,000 maybe.
for another 15 or the
Well,
same?
this is just for Thomas
Just
Park.
getting us one of these.
Okay.
Yeah, no, can we get a letter, I mean, it
Oh.
looks like they came up with some
You want a
ideas.
proposal?
No, this is mine, though.
That's all
of
hers.
these are mine.
Oh.
I got these.
They didn't give us
Oh,
any
I thought
ideas.
this was all together.
No, theirs
Oh,
is,
I'm sorry.
I
They
know,
just gave
that's
us the
mine.
proposal.
Yeah,
Theirs
just get the-
is just a letter.
It's just that
It's
one
just
sheet of
that.
paper.
It's
Now
more
I
like
got
a
it.
proposal.
I thought that was like their whole.
Sorry, that's my fault.
No, that's fine.
I will say, yeah, I would duplicate this minimum.
I tend to agree with Patty. I don't wanna do 2 studies for 2 parks and only wanna spend X dollars. I think we have to decide if our comfort level, let's say just for a swag, is 200 grand, well, there's no point in getting a study for Gaither because that's not gonna go very far. So what do we wanna spend?
300,000 right now is the budget. We've got that in Splosh.
Okay, so we have 300 grand in SPOS.
And don't we, or something too, what do we have in Splosh? You said plus interest, I don't know what the
It's
figure
north of
is.
300,000, maybe 310. But
Okay.
you have another SPOS that has park and recreation.
And what is that
No.
second SPOS?
Same as this one, it was
January
300, but
25.
with interest, you're probably gonna be north of 300 at the interest rate.
So
So
we'll
in
have
theory, you have
600?
600,000, 3 for each park, that's
Both of
what I
which
was
we
saying.
spend now.
Yeah, you can spend both of them now, you just have
I
to
mean,
pay yourself
one
back.
on Gaither, but I'm confused at this point. I'm really only interested in one part, but I'll go with two if that's what y'all wanna do. I just think it gets kinda confusing, and I think Gaither's gonna be relatively expensive, so I just wanna make sure.
Well, I
that-
think we can talk online, why don't you just make your motion and we'll take a vote?
On what?
I think you wanna make.
Just on mine, or do you want to
To
include
not to,
Gaither?
Danny's not to exceed 15,000 spent on Tyler Park design.
Okay. I've never made a motion before. I make the motion.
Now you know how I feel about it.
I know, that council approved the 14,925 for the design of the toddler park.
I second.
Okay, we've got a motion, we've got a second, all in favor, say aye. Those opposed? It is approved.
Very good, Lisa, thank you.
I only did, what, 800 motions tonight?
Well, this is the easy part.
What, getting the 14,000?
The hard part is when you get into the 500,000, they want to do the same job. Who knows? Who knows? We'll see. That's good. Anything else, Patty?
Thank y'all, yes, thank y'all.
Okay. Now we'll move to the Economic Development Committee. Brandon Whitfield.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm gonna make this as short and sweet as possible. Christy left me a note since she couldn't be here tonight, so I'm gonna read it. It's a patriotic Christmas parade, Saturday, November 30th at 6 p.m. Parade will leave at Bay Creek Elementary, come down Main Street. Santa will end the parade and go light the tree on the town green. Santa will hang around for pics at the after the tree is lit. DJ Doug and Press Play Productions will be the entertainment. Food vendors will be on site. So everybody, please come out. Please come to our Christmas parade. It's a lot of fun. I know we're gonna have a good many floats. And also our 2024 Christmas ornaments will be here at the end of the month. I know a lot of people kind of collect these now. They're very cool to have. I know I usually give them away as gifts for people. So, and it would be $15. You can stop by City Hall and purchase your ornament. Now, quick report on downtown about parking. We do have a vendor downtown that is having parking issues, and I believe she was supposed to be here tonight, but I talked with a few of the business owners downtown. I talked to 4 of them, and they wanted to discuss options on what to do, but they actually are okay with the parking downtown. It's mainly just on Sunday when all the churches are in session, the retail churches on the end over there. So it kind of hinders some of the parking for some of the other businesses there, and that's mainly the only thing is on Sundays. We are painting the parking and also painting the strips up on the street itself, the red and the white.
So you're doing the lines back on the parking?
Yeah, they're striping the,
Yeah, okay,
mhm.
good.
but also on the Main Street side to roll and do the red, because a lot of it's really hard to
Right.
read.
I've
Like
heard
you're
some
saying with the
complaints.
park, I wanna give like the best appearance that we can
Right.
for Main Street, so we need to get everything painted that we can.
I agree.
But the business owners that I've talked to, I would like to talk to Paul maybe a little bit about this and be really in depth tonight. But since it is public free parking, they've always kind of handled it on their own before. And I think they want to have a meeting between the business owners themselves to talk about it. I didn't want to be said that it wasn't discussed and council didn't know about it. So we all know about it. Where we give them a month or two, maybe towards the beginning of the year, to kind of figure it out on their own, see if they can come up with solutions on their own, before the city jumps in and has to start allocating spaces per square feet and stuff like that. So I just wanted to let everybody know what's going on, and see y'all's thoughts on it, and maybe a comment from Paul about if we do regulate, would it have to go, like, how would that kind of work? I don't think they want to be regulated. I think maybe one of them does, but I think they're gonna work it out. It's mainly just on Sundays.
I would push this to your DDA. I really would. I mean, because you've empowered them to give direction on how you control your downtown. It's one of your resources in your downtown parking. I push it to your DDA for them to develop a plan, give you that plan, and then y'all can implement it. Most of the time, what you find on your public downtown parking spaces, downtown parking lots, is that it's just open free for all. And you don't get into, we're gonna assign these spots, or we're gonna assign these spots. If you do, then you get into basically a leasing situation where you lease exclusive spots to businesses for them to use. So they're coming out of pocket for those regulated private spots. So most of what you see is just public parking available.
And I want to get maybe y'all's opinion and maybe Paul's opinion about signage. Because a lot of people go to that main parking area and see that's full and just start parking everywhere that they can. And they don't know about the other parking that is available, that city-owned parking downtown.
Yeah,
So maybe getting some kind of wayfinding signs out there to say, if this is full, try this lot, or try this lot. I think that has added to the confusion of parking downtown too.
Yeah, 100%. So, let DDA get empowered on that. I mean, you're gonna have to start helping them with resources to be able to do it, but parking studies are a great thing to figure out. Y'all probably have a whole lot more public free parking than you realize.
We have a lot.
And I can speak from experience being in Monroe. We hear it all the time. Monroe has a parking problem. Monroe has a parking problem. We don't. We have tons of available free parking. What Monroe has is people not wanting to walk more than 150 feet to a parking space problem. They only want to park right in front of the location. Monroe has over, I think it's 750 available municipal or publicly available parking spaces in downtown. But you have, so wayfinding signage is good, but a parking study would be something to come online. But DDA, I would recommend, would be a great resource to empower with that.
Okay, so y'all okay if we skip the next DDA meeting, letting them know about doing some wayfaring signs, and then come back with us after they discuss it?
Oh, I'm sure, absolutely. We
Yeah.
just, you can get Daniel a heads up, so we'll get somebody to go in.
You're the liaison, I figured you would talk to them about
I'll
it,
do that, absolutely.
and Paul too, because he's part of it as well.
Would they pay for the signs, Brandon?
That'll be up to them. They might come and ask us, hey, this is a good solution.
Yeah.
We don't have the money to do
That's
all
what I'm
this or
thinking.
something, so.
I think maybe that's what Paul's referring to, we might have to help with some resources.
Yeah, okay,
So just
I agree with that.
And I would have no
maybe
problem
be
with that.
prepared if it does come back, then if we like what they're doing, then we might have to discuss giving money at that point.
Fair. Nothing's free.
And if there's any more discussion, that's all I have tonight, Mayor.
Okay, thank you, Brandon. We move down to the city manager report, Danny Roberts.
Thank you, Mayor. I'll be very quick. So I just need your approval for the surplus auction list. We request that we add some more stuff. Some more stuff came to me Tuesday morning. Stuff they found that was broke, they want to get rid of. We just can't throw this stuff away. So I would ask council to give me the authority to add the necessary equipment to the auction list. It will have to be advertised in our legal organ, all the equipment. I give you a sample report in the back. And that will be, we'll use our municipal bid service that we used in the past. It's an online auctions. We don't pay nothing for that. They collect a fee from the buyer. And then Ross's department back there, Ross, raise your hand, that's the director of fleet. He handles the auction, they see him, they schedule the car picks up, they come up here and pay, and Natalie's department gives titles for vehicles.
Do you need a motion for that?
I'll need approval to have an auction.
I'd like to make a motion to give Danny the approval to have an auction.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
And
That was, $100,000, I think, last time, wasn't it?
Yes.
Right after.
And we'll just need to go into executive session for about 2 hours, and that's it.
That's good. Let's get it done.
That's all I have, Mayor.
Okay, thank you, Dan. Moving in is City Attorney Paul Rosenthal.
I have nothing actionable for you this evening. You will have coming before you next month the construction IGA for the library. I'll get it out to you early. Bid opening is next week, I believe. We've already got a draft of the agreement almost circulated with the attorneys, and I'll get it to y'all ahead of that meeting. But that will be the agreement that spells out the money getting paid to the contractor to get the construction on the library going. I'll be happy to answer any questions and be happy to hear someone hopefully entertain a motion to adjourn, because we do not have a need for an executive session this evening.
Can we just have one? Can we just have one? Okay, we need a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion we adjourn.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, God help us.
Saying.
Meeting is adjourned. Thanks, everybody, for being here. And Jim back in the back is with the Walton Tribune. What we need before you leave is we need about $500,000 to fix our park.
Will you take a check?
Get with Patrick and see what he can do. Thanks for being here, Jim.
Oh, you bet.